Welcome to Psychometric.com. Today we will see aptitude tests for HSBC. HSBC is one of the largest banks and financial services groups in the world. It was founded in 1865 with activities in personal banking, commercial banking, wealth management, financial markets, and services for international companies. In its selection process, it uses aptitude tests because many roles require analyzing information, working with data, interpreting text, solving problems, making decisions under pressure, and acting appropriately in real-world work situations. For this reason, especially in programs for students and graduates, HSBC may include aptitude tests to check if the candidate matches the role's competencies. So, could you tell me exactly what the aptitude assessments for HSBC consist of? These tests can vary quite significantly depending on the role, but they typically include sections on numerical reasoning, verbal reasoning, logical reasoning, and situational judgment assessments. How can we go about passing these tests to ensure we achieve a good score? Obviously practicing beforehand, since it's not the same to encounter an exercise for the first time as having done it before, since many logics and ways of solving it are repeated year after year. Learn tips and strategies to do them more quickly and efficiently, making the least number of possible mistakes. How can we practice and get better results in these tests? For this purpose, we have created a course with aptitude tests for HSBC, where we have online and PDF tests, as well as sections with tips and tricks to perform better. I have left the link to the course in the video description, and now we will look at 10 sample exercises so you can see what the course is like. 1. Identify the figure that completes the series. In this case, we need to see which figures go inside the gaps with the question marks. If you have never done exercises of this type, usually the top part follows the same logic as the bottom part, so we need to copy the upper logic to the lower logic. If, for example, we see that at the top we have 3 moons with 2 black parts, then it turns 90 degrees clockwise, like this, and one is black and the other is white, and then it turns 90 degrees again, and only one remains. I mean, there's like a group of 3, a group of 2, and a group of 1, where 2 are black and 1 is white, 1 is black and the other is white, and at the end it's white. So in this part here, there needs to be a white heart in the same position as the 2 before it. So it should be like this, a white heart here like this. And then there has to be a heart in the same position as this one here, but in white, just like the moon. So this would be a heart like this here. Which answer area has hearts arranged in this way? Option D. Option D would be the correct answer. First of all, remember that you can pause the video to try to solve the exercise yourselves. And also, a very important part of these tests is time, because if we were given 10 minutes to do it, in the end everyone would solve them, but they tend to be tests with very limited time. That is to say, they can give us 30 exercises of this type to complete in 15 minutes, where we have 30 seconds for each one. Therefore, we have to work quickly, and one way to work quickly is to practice a lot beforehand, because it's not the same to see this exercise for the first time as to have done exercises of this type many times, because everything becomes easier. We move on to exercise 2. Which figure does not belong to the group? In this case, we need to find which pattern has figures that are completely different from the other 3. If you are presented with 3 choices that all share the same number of sides and one of them differs, then that one is clearly the odd one out. In this specific case, for option A, the triangle has 3 sides and the circle has 4. That is 6 plus 4, which equals 10 sides. Then 4 plus 3, which is 7 sides. So that particular pattern does not really help us to distinguish it from the rest of the group. Many of you have already found it, and the pattern is that the white figure is always in front of the black figure, except in one case, which is option D. So this pattern makes it completely different from the rest of the answer options, so the correct answer is option D. 3. Calculate the result. In this case, they ask us to guess what numbers are in the question marks. To do this, we need to figure out the patterns between the different grids. These could be addition, subtraction, or multiplication. For instance, you might add this one and this one to get this one, or if you add 2 to all the numbers in this one, you get this one. These are just examples. This can be any kind of logic. It involves doing lots of exercises and trying to keep your mind alert and quick. Usually these types of exercises tend to have a linear relationship, meaning this plus this gives you this in any way, whether by adding, subtracting, multiplying, or by substituting numbers for others, but not always. It's usually like that 80% of the time, but there are times when it's not. And in this case, I can tell you that's not how it is. It's a different kind of logic. What almost always happens, though, is that the top part has to have the same logic as the bottom part. So, if we take a step back, I'm telling you this exercise is very complex. It's unlikely you'll run into an exercise this complex, but we're going to solve it so you know how. But I'm telling you, they usually aren't this complex, and if you do find one this complex, it's better to skip it and leave it for the end, because otherwise it will eat up a lot of your time. And time is money in these types of tests. If we look and add 5 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, we get 12. And at the end here it shows the result 12, 12. I say, it's a bit convoluted and complex, but it's the only logic we can find. Also the logic, but of course, it doesn't help us, in this case, to reach the solution. There is a logic that connects this with this, the first column with the second. That is, 5 times 4, 20, 2 times 1, 2, 3 times 6, 18, and 1 times 8, 8. But of course, there's no horizontal logic that leads us to this. The only one is what I've mentioned. Adding this grid gives us this. So, if we add this grid, it's 3 plus 6, 9 plus 8, 17, plus 1, 18. And the option that fulfills it is D. As I said, it is very convoluted, but it is the only option that is logically correct. Let's move on to exercise 4. What number continues the series? We have 2, 6, 15, 28, 55, 78. Usually these types of exercises are based on logic of adding, subtracting, or multiplying, which gives us the next number. For example, like plus 4, plus 9, and so on. But in this case, just like the previous one, this exercise is also quite complex, and doesn't follow a clear logic. It's linear, but it's not that straightforward. I encourage you to pause the video and try to solve it on your own. I'm telling you, this exercise is complex, but it can be solved. I'll give you the correct answer now. In this case, we need to know about prime numbers, since each number in the series is related to a prime number. It would be multiplying 1 by 2, 2 by 3, 3 by 5. In other words, multiplying its position in the series by a prime number. Position number 1 by 2, position number 2 by 3, position number 3 by 5, position number 4 by 7, position number 5 by 11, position number 6 by 13, and the next one would be 17. It would be position number 7 times 17, 119. Option A, that is 17 times 7, would give us 119. As I've told you, it's very complex. Usually the series are simpler. These might appear, but what we'll do if they do is leave them for last and try to solve them at the end if we have time left. Normally they are usually another type of series, more similar to type 3, 5, 8, 12. And one line ahead. A simpler example would be plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5. They're usually simpler series, but every now and then they throw in a complex one, which is often what sets one apart from the other, knowing how to solve something like that, since this is high-level stuff. Let's move on to exercise number 5. 1/5 of a number divided by 2 equals 6. What is the number? In this case, we can solve it using an equation or also by directly testing the answer choices. Often this is the simplest method. For example, 30. 30 divided by 5 is 6, halved is 3. It is not equal to 6, so it can be eliminated. Possibly, this is the fastest way. The fastest way is to go from answer choice to answer choice rather than doing the equation, which we can also do, which would be something like this. The number we want to find divided by 5, which is then divided by 2 equals 6. We could add the number here and solve it. In other words, we can solve the equation or try the response option. In my experience, it's faster to just take a quick look without thinking about the equation, check the answer options, and that's it. Once the equation is set up, it might be a 50-50 split in terms of time, but the time it takes to set up the equation also eats into our time. So, in this case, the ideal approach is to quickly look at the answer options, and especially if the answer is A or B, it can be done very quickly. Here, for example, B couldn't be the answer, because divided by 5, it would result in a decimal, and it says it should equal 6, so B is already ruled out. The same goes for D, D divided by 5 is also ruled out, so the correct answer must be C. Now, definitely, we can solve it. 60 divided by 5 equals 12, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. The correct answer is option C. Let's move on to exercise number 6. Choose the synonym of resilient. I suppose we all know what synonym means, but to remind you, it's a word similar or with the same meaning as resilient. And it gives us option A, fragile, option B, adaptable, option C, rigid, or option D, hesitant. This is very simple. Anyone who speaks English normally can solve the exercise. It would be option B, since being resilient means having the ability to adjust, adapt to new conditions to survive or thrive. So the correct answer is option B. Let's move on to exercise number 7. If the word dreamt is encoded as 895412, then what word does the code 9541 correspond to? This exercise is also very simple. It is a coding exercise. That is, each letter of this word corresponds to a number. So according to this, we have to encode these numbers back to letters. This exercise is very simple, but if we've never done it before, instead of taking maybe 20 or 30 seconds to figure out how it works, if you've done these kinds of exercises before, it only takes you 3 seconds to figure it out. And this totally makes the difference between one candidate and another. Here, the fastest way to solve it, instead of coding the entire code, would be to go to the answer options and see which position within the words is different in all 4. In this case, for example, we see that the first letter is completely different in all 4, so by simply decoding the number 9, we would already get the correct answer. In this case, since it is a small number, only 4 digits, the actual time saved is minimal, but it is still something. If it were a much longer code, this trick would save much more time. So, based on what was being said, the number 9 corresponds here to the second position of the word dreamt, which would be the R. So, it's 9541, it would start with R, so the correct answer would be option B. Now let's check the answer. The 5 corresponds to the E, which is here in the 3rd position. The A, the 4, corresponds here to this position, the 4th position, and the 1 corresponds here to the penultimate position, the M. So option B is correct. Let's move on to exercise number 8. 8. Mentally fold the paper and mark the position of the whole. In this exercise, we have to imagine a sheet where we fold once to this position here, and then again to here. We fold this part here to here. And then we make a hole here. And now we are asked, when we unfold it and lay it out completely, where we have holes. I'm going to clean up the image to solve it so it's clearer. So, if we made the hole here, if we unfold it again and lay it out this way, that is, with half the sheet folded, we would have another hole here. And if now we unfold this half of the sheet back to its full size, we would have another hole here and another here. Therefore, the correct answer would be option A. If you don't quite understand this exercise, I recommend that you take a sheet of paper, fold it in this way, in half, and then lift it a bit in this part here, another fold upwards. Poke it with a pencil or a pen and open it again. This way you'll see it much better and in a more visual way. Let's move on to exercise number 9. Lewis works at a bank and a customer wants to withdraw $2,145. In his cash register, he has $500 bills, $100 bills, $50 bills, and $20 bills, as well as $1 coins and 50-cent coins. How can he give the money using the fewest number of bills and coins? Here it would be like in the exercise we saw earlier. We can create an equation where we waste time thinking about how to create it, or go directly to the answer choices and look for the right one, as it is a very easy exercise to understand. It's just about knowing what is the most efficient way to give $2,145 to the customer with these bills. For example, if we use 5 $500 bills, we exceed the amount, so we need to use 4 $500 bills, and that's $2,000. If we use 2 $200 bills, we exceed the amount, it should be 1. Then, from 50, if we already have 2,100, we can't use it since we exceed 2,125, so we'd have to go to 20, and so on. Here in this case, as it's a very simple exercise, what I would do is solve it by looking among the answer options or just doing it manually, as it's very simple, and if we have some mental agility, we can solve it in 10 seconds. That is to say, it's equivalent to 4 500s. That option is already out. Option A is ruled out. We can't use 50 as that's two 20s, and looking closer at the numbers, this doesn't use 20 anymore, so it's clearly out. Therefore, the correct option is B. And it wouldn't be necessary to review the whole exercise because, as I said, time is key. Typically in this kind of test, we don't have enough time to complete the entire exam, so we choose option B and quickly move on to the next exercise. Exercise number 10. What letter continues the series? We are given O, W, T, S, E, M, I, T, T, H, G, I, and E. In these types of exercises, the series of letters usually has a relationship with the position of the letters in the alphabet. That is to say, if the letter O is in the 15th position, W in the 23rd, T in the 20th, and S in the 19th, these exercises usually have that kind of logic. From one, add 3 letters, another decrease by 2 letters, another add 3 letters, and this way we get the result. In this case, I'm telling you it's not like that, as it is an exercise to break the logic and try to solve it differently. Normally, as I say, the letter O would be the 15th position, then this letter the 17th position, 19th position, 21st position, and it would be very simple. But in this case, it's not like that. It's a lateral thinking exercise. We need to see what different logic this series has, and if we realize, I encourage you to pause the video and try to solve it yourselves. I'm telling you it's a slightly complex, or rather slightly different exercise, and try to solve it yourselves. Here, I'll tell you the answer. If we read the series backwards, we see it says 8 times 2, 8 times 2, and if we look at the answer options, 8 times 2, which would be option C, which equals 8 times 2, 16. Option C. Another way to look at it is by checking the answer options, which I hadn't mentioned yet. If we look at the answer options, we see it's a number. That completely breaks the letter pattern. We know it can't be another letter. It has to be something that results in a number. And normally you will see that they tend to be accounts. So that's it. We've reached the end of the video. If you want to access more HSBC Aptitude tests, you can sign up for our course where we have 50 PDF and online tests. We have a section of tips and tricks like the ones we've seen to solve them more efficiently and to stand out from the rest of the candidates. I've left the link to the course in the video description. I hope this has helped you, and I'll see you inside the course. Best regards.